channel. My name is Bree for the ones who don't know me. For the ones who do know me, like I said, welcome back. As you can see by today's title, today's video is going to be my labor and delivery story, because I didn't get to record it. It was totally unexpected. I didn't think I was gonna go on labor that day, so it just happened unexpectedly. So I'm gonna just, get into the video and go do much talking about this part right here. So let's just get into the video. I had a doctor's appointment on a Wednesday because they give you an extra appointment just in case you go a few days overdue your due date. And I was 3 days overdue the day I went into labor because he did not come on his due date. My baby was very stubborn. He did not want to come when he was supposed to. He waited a few days after. Stubborn, I know. But yeah, on this particular Wednesday, I had a doctor's appointment. I had to get an ultrasound. I had to get a non-stress test done, and I also had to get my cervix checked also. So I had 3 different things to do all in one area. So I went to the doctor's to get checked. And before I went to the doctor, I was 1 centimeter dilated for a good 3 weeks. So I wasn't really making much progress, even though I tried to, work out, and I tried everything, and it just, nothing was really working to dilate me more, not even walking. So like I said, I was at the doctor's, and I had got my ultrasound done first, and they did this ultrasound just so I can see, so they can see if he had enough fluid around him so that he was okay. So this little ultrasound, she told me that everything looked good. I really couldn't see his face too much because he would not let nobody see his face. He was kicking the probe off my stomach, everything. It was just like that. It was all crazy. So after my ultrasound, I went to go and get checked, my cervix checked, which I'm gonna tell y'all, for the ones who don't know, like what it feels like. Getting your cervix checked really, really hurts. I'm talking about you would want to cry. That's how bad it hurts. Like, I hate it. We ain't gonna get into that. But yeah, I was getting my cervix checked, and she told me that I was going into 2 centimeters dilated. So yeah, she was just telling me like, okay, so I really haven't made too much progress. So they was going to induce me that following week on the 18th, because my son was born November 13th, but my due date was November 10th, but he was born 3 days after his due date. Yeah, so after all of that, I had went to get my non-stress test done, and it's a test measuring baby's kicks, heart rate, any contractions, anything like that. Just make sure everything is all okay. So I'm getting my non-stress test done, and at the end of it, she said everything looked good. But when she was checking like the charts and everything, she noticed something. She motioned towards me and was like, I don't know if you knew this or if you felt this, but did you know that you just had a big contraction? I just sat there like, huh? Like, can you repeat yourself? Like, I know what she said, but I had to process it. I'm like, contraction? I didn't feel no contraction. So I was just letting her know, like, no, I didn't feel no contraction, and not at all. She's like, you just had a really big contraction. I'm like, nah, I didn't feel it. So after I left the doctor's office, it was around 11 when I left. So I went home. I went into my grandmother's room, and I laid into her bed because I was too tired to go upstairs. So I just laid up in her bed, and I just took a nap. So I woke up around like 1:30, something like that, and I had pains in my stomach. Like, it wasn't all that bad. It kind of felt like the beginning of when your period's supposed to come on. So like menstrual cramps, basically, that's what it felt like. So it wasn't really all that painful, but it was kind of annoying me a little bit. So I was getting ready to stand up. So I slowly get out of the bed. I stand up. I feel a gush. And immediately, I thought in my head, like, I really hope I didn't pee on myself. I really hope. And I'm too old for that. So I know damn well I did not just pee on myself. So I look and I check my underwear, and it turns out I lost my mucus plug. So I yell to my grandmother, and she's in the other room, mind you, she's in the other room watching TV. So I yell, I'm like, Granny, my mucus plug is gone. What should I do? She said, go and call your doctor's office, let them know what's going on, and make sure that you track your contractions. And then if they tell you to go, or this, I'm gonna call your auntie. So I said, okay. I called my doctor's office. I let them know, like, I lost my mucus plug. I'm having a little bit of contractions, but not too bad. And that's when they got to asking me how far apart my contractions were. And I was like, every 12 minutes, 14, something like that. And mucus plug just kept coming out. TMI, I'm sorry, but yeah. So she basically just said, go ahead and go to the hospital. So that's exactly what I was getting ready to do. So I got all cleaned up, everything. My auntie came and got me. So we arrived at the hospital. I go straight to the 4th floor at the top. I let them know what's going on. They get me into triage. They get me on the monitor and everything. The doctor come in the room and he's talking to me. He's like, okay, so from my knowledge, you already have doctor's appointment today. So how dilated were you before you came here? I was like, she told me I was at least almost 2 centimeters dilated, but I'm still at 1. So he said, I'm gonna check you again and we'll go from there. So I let him check me and everything, and he tells me that I'm at 2 centimeters dilated. So I'm like, okay. So I made a little bit of progress. So, but I was in an active labor. So what he said was that either I could stay for an hour to see if I progress a little bit more, or I could go home and labor there, something like that. So at first I was like, maybe I do want to go home just to take a nap or something like that. But then it was like, nah, I'ma just see if I progress a little bit more. So that's exactly what I did. I said, no, I'm gonna stay here. I'm gonna just stay for an hour and we'll see. So 30 minutes passed by. My brother arrives at the hospital. He comes to the 4th floor in the triage room to see me. Sorry, I have to make sure that he's okay back there because he's back there asleep. So yeah, my brother comes in the room. I'm talking to him. He asking me, am I okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. Just feeling a little contractions. They're getting a little stronger, but it's still not that painful. And then he had, yeah, I was talking to him and everything. And then I had stood up and I had a little bit of contractions. I had got out the bed because the doctor had told me specifically. She was like, you don't have to stay in the bed. You can get up and, you know, walk around a little bit, rock side to side if you need to. You don't have to sit in the bed because sometimes it could be uncomfortable to just lay there, and it helps to move a little. So I said, okay. I stood up slowly. I'm rocking side to side on the side of the bed like this. And then my water broke right there on the floor. Like it was just, and people over exaggerate what it's like to lose, what it's like to for your water to break. In reality, it's not a big gush like they show on TV. It ain't no, it's not real bad. It just feels like you peeing on yourself, which that's exactly what it looked like. So I called the nurse in the room and let her know my water just broke all over the floor. So she comes in, she cleans it up. I get back into the bed. So by this time it hit an hour. My contractions started to bother me a little bit more, to the point where I actually got nauseous and I threw up a little. So the doctor comes back into the room and he says, okay, so it looks like you look a little uncomfortable, and I'm looking at your contractions and they kind of high. So even when I wasn't really dilated, like progressing too much, my contractions were getting a little too close together. They was getting a little too high. So sorry, I got a Twitter notification. But yeah, my contractions were kind of high for me not to be dilated so much. So he begins to check me again and everything, and lets me know that I dilated to almost a 3. So he tells me that they're going to admit me. So I'm like, okay. So I call my grandmother and I let her know, like, okay, so they're keeping me and everything. So I'll call you and update you on what's going on. She like, okay, all right. So I hang up the phone, And I just sit back and I just breathe through all the contractions, because at this point the contractions was getting it was hurting a little bit more, but I could still talk through them. So they get me admitted. They took me from the triage room to the labor and delivery room. So they gave me hooked up to the machines and stuff, and put the IV into my hand and all of that. And I did a little bit of paperwork, whatever. So an hour goes by, the contractions start to really, really bother me at this point. I'm like, oh my God, like, woo, it was just hurting so much. So the doctor comes in the room, I get checked again. I'm at a 5 going on a 6. At this time, it's around like 6 o'clock. Mind you, I'm like almost 6 centimeters, but I'm 5 going on 6 at this time. So I was dilating kind of fast, but not too fast. So yeah, at this point the contractions was really starting to bother me a little bit more, and it was just, I was trying my hardest not to cry, not to scream, none of that. So it hit around like 7 o'clock. My mama called me on the phone. She's like, so how's everything going? I'm like, these contractions really hurt. At this point, I'm ready to just give up and get an epidural. I'm like, I can't do this. This hurts so bad. I haven't been able to get no sleep. I just cannot. She's like, you know what? Just go on, get the epidural if you feel like it's going to help you get a little bit of sleep. So at this point, I'm crying because the contractions hurting me really bad. So my brother starts hugging me and everything. And then I get ready to call. I call the nurse and I tell her I want an epidural. So the man came into the room within 5 minutes and explained the whole procedure to me. And I had to lean over the bed. I had to sit on the side of the bed and lean over, like slouch down a little bit. And I had a nurse in front of me, and she was holding my shoulders, rubbing my shoulders. She was talking to me as I was breathing through the contraction before I had to get the epidural. So he get ready to insert the epidural. Let me tell y'all, it does not hurt to get an epidural. It really does not. It feels like kind of like a bee sting, but when they put that little tube into your back, it feels like a straw going in, and it's kind of cold, so it feels really weird when it touches your spine. So after I got the epidural, he lets me know that it's not going to take away all the pain, but 80% of the pain. So I'm like, okay, I understand. So he talked to me a little bit more, and like with each contraction I felt them less and less until I couldn't feel them at all. So an hour passed, I get a little bit of sleep, and then the contractions, you would think I wouldn't feel no contractions. Honey, the contractions went to my butt. All my contractions I felt in my butt, so it was just pressure. And at this point, my contractions was 4 minutes apart. So, like I said, I think it was around like 8, going on 9 o'clock. They come in the room, they check me again, they tell me that I'm 7 centimeters at this time. 7 centimeters dilated. So, but at this point, my heart is pounding. I'm getting a little nervous. Like I'm really getting nervous because I'm getting close to like pushing my son out. So they basically was telling me like when I hit 9 to 10 centimeters, they gonna do like practice pushes, you know, all that stuff. So I'm like just listening, nodding my head, everything like that. At this point, I wasn't really talking because I just could not talk to those contractions. It felt like somebody was punching me in my chest, punching me all in my stomach. That's what it felt like. I felt like I was getting kicked all in my stomach, in my back. Not my stomach in my back, but I just felt the immense pressure in my butt. Sorry, y'all, I said the wrong thing. But yeah. So at this point, all the contractions was in my butt, so I just felt every ounce of pressure, and it was just unbearable at this point. Around like 9 or 10 p.m. So around 10:30, 10:40 is when I became not fully dilated, but I was at a 9, almost a 10. So they put, so she comes in because at this point my cervix wasn't thinning out fast enough when I hit 9 centimeters, almost 10. I still had a little bit of my cervix left. So so they left out the room and everything. Sorry, y'all, I'm trying to like remember everything exactly how it happened. So y'all, my auntie talking to me, she helping me breathe. through all that pressure I was feeling. Because the pressure was so bad, I literally felt like I had to use the bathroom. That's how bad it was. So like around 10:50, they come back in the room again because I'm telling them that the pressure got unbearable at this point. So I finally hit 10 centimeters around 10:40, 10:50. So the nurse comes in the room. She lets me know at this point that I'm gonna do some practice pushes, and it was like this little, not no stirrups, like it's like this little like this rectangle shaped thing over the bed. They pulled it up. They had me put my legs on it, but I still had to like put my hands under my legs at this point to practice do the practice pushes. So I'm going like this basically, and I'm just practicing pushing and everything like that. And then finally the doctor and the other nurses come into the room. They get everything set up, everything prepared. Like I said, at this point my heart beating fast. I'm like, whew. Like I'm so scared at this point because it was just, you know, you can die giving birth. Like you can really die. So I was just praying to God like everything was gonna be good. So I get ready to start pushing, and at first I don't think I'm doing anything because I didn't really feel nothing at first. I'm like, so I'm asking them like, am I making a little progress? She's like, oh yeah, I can see his hair a little bit. So like, I need you to push again. So I start pushing again, and you know, counting in my head as I'm pushing with each contraction. So his head started to crown, and when his head began to crown is when, oh y'all, I started to weep a little. I'm like, oh my God, oh, the ring of fire is real. Like it hurts. Like I'm like, I could just feel my skin scratching. I'm sorry y'all, it might be a little TMI, but I'm gonna just tell it like it is. Honey, childbirth hurt. So yeah, so his head began to crown. It was just hurting. So my auntie like, hurry up and get him out of there, because you being stubborn, you need to hurry up and get him out of there. Like at this point I'm ready for him to come out because I'm getting tired, I'm sleepy, everything. I began to start crying. I'm like, oh my God, this hurts so much. I'm ready for him to come out. This hurts so bad. So like I pushed all the way into like 11:55 because he was born at 11:55 p.m. So I only pushed for like a good 40 minutes before he finally came out. And they put him on my chest, and then all the pain that I felt before that, every contraction, all that pain just left. And I just thank God, like, I really did this, bruh. I really did it. So at this point, I'm hugging my baby while he on my chest, thanking God, saying I did it. So then I was hugging him for a minute. He was crying a little bit. So they take him, they get him weighed and everything, and they finna get me stitched up because at this point, I had like a really bad, I had like a bad tear, I guess. I had like a 4th degree tear. So yeah. If you don't know what that is, please look it up. Please look it up. So yeah, I had a 4th degree tear. I'm getting stitched up and everything. And my brother is over there where my baby is. So he's telling me that everything is good. And he's just looking around at everybody, being a little nosy. So they get ready to tell me how much he weighed. I bet y'all couldn't guess how much my son weighed when he was born. Guess. My son was 9 pounds and 3 ounces when he was born. 9 pounds, 3 ounces. I'm looking like, what? I really had a 9-pound baby? Are you serious? Like, that's crazy. But overall, I will definitely do it again if I could, because that was actually the best day of my life. Actually getting to see him for the first time and hearing him cry for the first time, it actually made me emotional for like a whole week straight. Like every time I looked at him, I would start crying because I really had a baby, bro. And to this day, I still can't believe that I actually gave birth to the most amazing person in my life. And I don't know where I would be without my son, because I was in a dark place before I got pregnant with him. And I was 19 when I got pregnant with my son, but I had him at 20 years old, and I'm almost 21 now. So yeah, my son is 3 months old. He was born on November 13th. So yes, he's a Scorpio. He is a very good baby. He doesn't cry like that. He is a happy-go-lucky baby. He smiles all day. He makes noise. He kicks his little feet. He's teasing, you know, all things babies should be doing. So Yeah, that was my story, y'all. I try not to make it too long, but you know, it is what it is. So I really hope y'all enjoyed my story. Please like, comment, and subscribe, you know, all that good stuff. And I'll be back with more videos as soon as I can. So thank y'all for watching, and I'll be back with another video later. Bye, y'all.